My beautiful friends, it has been another year of Switchy goodness. Another wonderful, glorious year of Switchy goodness has been, what, how did I start that sentence? Has gone by. The Switch is now 2 years old, and it is actually very, very hard for me to believe. Like, seriously, it is super hard to believe that it has been a whole year since I did my last one, my last Switchiversary video, and, I'm still kind of not sure if it's true. Like, I keep looking at the calendar and being like, it was March, right? Like, right, March 3rd, right? That's when the Switch came out? But yeah, apparently it has, and I am here to talk about it, here to celebrate yet another year, because that's what I do. When I like something, I like to talk about it and celebrate it. I will say, though, this video, it's gonna seem a little bit more negative. That's because I've already said everything there is to say about how great the Switch is, you know what I mean? Like, this last year was the same as the first year, the same old, wow, the Switch is amazing, the amazing convenience of playing on the go. That's pretty much what I went on about last time. So I'm not gonna go over all of that again. All of that is still completely true. So keep that in mind, even as I am griping slightly in this video. Still, it was great. It was a really, really great year of playing the Switch. And I'm prepping you in this way because, well, like, the first year, you know, March 2017 to 2018, that was kind of the honeymoon year. You know what I mean? That first year was nothing but pure joy. It was just absolutely unmatched in the world of first years of a system. But now, after 2 years, you know, us and the Switch getting to know each other a little better, kind of that honeymoon phase kind of starting to wear off, you know, like just a tiny little bit of the luster has worn off, and we've been faced with a lot more of the realities of what, I don't know, what the Switch is and what Nintendo is doing. Most of it's good, and you know, and I talked about a lot of stuff in my 2018 review that was kind of like, okay, things, you know, reality check, kind of coming back down, and yeah, not everything is 100% sunshine and daisies, and that's fine. Like, it's not the end of the world, obviously. Most of it's positive. Most of the Switch is just super amazing. But I will say, like, just a little bit of the novelty is worn off, you know what I mean? Like, playing games on the go, I've said it before, it's not, like, that novelty will not wear off because it's a convenience that will not stop being a convenience. But the overall, like, just amazingness of it, you know, I'm more used to it now. I'm more used to it. So in this last year, I finally started seeing the Switch's limitations. You know, finally started dreaming a little bit more. Like, the more time goes on, the more I'm just like, yeah, this could be a little better. And just like I said last year, this year, I pretty rarely touched my PS4. You know, again, because the Switch is just so convenient that I find myself playing that more than anything. But, like, on the rare occasion, you know, I would pick up the PS4, and every time I do, I'm just like, whoa, like, I forgot how good graphics can be. You know what I mean? Like, I just played Rise of the Tomb Raider. Someone at a con gave me that. I'm so sorry, I don't remember your name, but if you're watching this, I love you, thank you. Just gave it to me. It was totally, like, on my list of games I wanted to play. It was great. So I'm playing that, and it's just like, wow, like, this really is amazing. You know, like, when the Switch first came out, you know, the novelty of having such amazing graphics on the go and all that is great, but just, like I said, the more time goes on, the more I'm just like, yeah, but man, they could be better. You know what I mean? It's not the most important thing in the world, but it sure would be nice. It sure does have me thinking about a time when we get either a Switch Pro or just the next Switch or something, and we can get even better graphics out of it. Other things too, I know on my first year anniversary video, I said that the battery life thing was not an issue, and like, for the most part, it's still not, you know, because if I'm gonna be somewhere for a long time, I could just bring my battery or find a plug or something. It's not the worst thing, but I will say, in this last year, it finally started to just a tiny bit, you know what I mean? Like, just a tiny bit of annoyance in there, being like, yeah, I do wish it had a better battery. You know what I mean? Still nothing crazy, still nothing bad. I'm not caught in situations all the time where it's running out. It's more just kind of like, it's 2 hours. They say it's supposed to be more, or like 3, or it depends on the title. I don't know. I haven't done a lot of like rigorous testing or anything, but for me, it's basically always 2 hours. Doesn't really matter if I'm playing Breath of the Wild or something smaller. It's 2 hours. And I'm just starting to kind of wish it was more than that. I don't need that much more. Yeah, just, tiny little thing. Then you got the online that's not very good, and just basically all the things that the Switch doesn't quite do as well as other things. I'm just starting to get just a little bit jealous, you know what I mean? I mean, not that there's like Switch system from another company that has a better battery, but you know what I mean? Like, some products do have better batteries, can last longer than 2 hours. So yeah, I'm slowly becoming more acutely aware of the Switch's limitations and slowly building into a place where I'm eager for them to be unlimitationized. Yes, word. But also at first, I wasn't too worried about missing features, you know, missing features that a lot of other devices seem to have, if not all of them. I was just so enamored with the thing that I didn't really care. But again, just slowly, I'm starting to miss those features, starting to be like, okay, but can we make this thing better? Can we actually start making this look like basically everything else? It's not that the Switch needs all those things, it's just that, like, why not? You know what I mean? Like, it's just convenience. I use my Switch a lot. It's plugged into my TV most often, so especially things like video apps. Like, they finally put, like, YouTube on there, but I want more, man. I want all the video streaming services, or at least, like, the major ones. I'd love to have, like, Hulu on there or something. Like an internet browser, that would be really excellent. Just in the off chance that you need one, because I mean, come on, the DS had an internet browser. No, you had to buy the one for the DS. The 3DS had an internet browser, but like the Switch doesn't, even though they're doing this whole online service thing, connected all the time. I don't really get it. And then of course stuff like the Virtual Console, like a good way to just go buy the old games that I want to. The fact that it's not there, I don't know, it's not even coming, but I don't know. Yeah, all these little features, they're really starting to weigh on me, you know? And also, I promise this is the last time. I promise that this is the last time I will bring up hardware issues without just making the darn video on it. But I will say that progressively I'm becoming more and more annoyed with hardware issues. It's starting to feel like every single Joy-Con out there is failing, or, you know, having a problem with the stick getting all drifty. Some people are telling me that there are ways to fix it. I've tried some of these. Maybe I just need to try harder. I can't seem to get it to work. But it's annoying. We should not have to do this. This is a big problem. At least it's turning into a big problem, or at least like a problem that's just big enough to be a problem, but not quite big enough for them to do something about it, like dramatically. I don't know, but it is frustrating. And that was definitely one of the big things of this year, was that's when all the controllers started going out. You know, especially like on like the launch ones, the ones that have been around for 1 or 2 years now. It's starting to become a problem. But that's it for the super nitpicky stuff. So we all know that 2018 was a little light. This is not a nitpick. This does not belong in the nitpicky stuff. 2018 was a little bit light in like really big, huge, all-encompassing releases. But there's a little bit of good that came from that. Because I wasn't, you know, I didn't have my Breath of the Wild and my Mario Odyssey and my Splatoon and all that to just spend trillions of hours on. I had to turn to the eShop for games, and it's been something of a blessing. I'll never say I'm glad that Nintendo didn't put out a lot of games in 2018, but I will say there was some good did come of it. For the first like year, I only really played games I was reviewing, or if I got a review copy or something like that. A couple that I bought myself so that I could review. This year, finally, and even probably just in like the last half of the year, I finally reached a point where I'm just buying games to play them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, this is a game I want to buy because I want to play it. The end. Not to review it or anything. Like, you know, I'll probably end up reviewing some of these games in like eShop review collections or whatever, but that's not like the reason. And it's great because I've been playing all these great games, just spending so much time on my Switch playing these awesome indie games. Defense Grid 2 finally came out, and that's just everything as beautiful as I could ever have wanted, which is a whole problem in itself. But unfortunately now I'm facing the same problem with the Switch that I had avoided up until now, of just buying too many games and not being able to play them all. All my other systems, I've got big giant stacks of games I've never played and I still want to play. And I had avoided that up to the Switch. I was getting them, playing them, reviewing them, whatever. But now I'm finally looking at sales and just being like, oh, it's only $5. I'll get it now and play it later. And it's just like, oh, that backlog is finally starting to build up. Oh, boy. But hey, it's a good problem to have. There are just too many games to play. I mean, there are actually too many games to play. Like, the indie scene on the eShop is getting so ridiculous. Even just the overall third-party scene. I'll never play all the good games. I'll never play every game on the eShop that I would want to play or that I might end up finding good. It is nuts. It is getting a little flooded overall, as I've talked about in the past, but man, there are just, like, every week, there's this ridiculous number of games, and a lot of really, really good ones. The only one really, really big game of, you know, the second year of the Switch, obviously, was Smash. And it was just one, but I will say, it was pretty darn magical. Like, it really was. And I'm really happy that, at the very least, even if it was just the one game, it was something as big and exciting as Smash, with all the character reveals and everything. It was really fun to just see everybody, I don't know, just whole community together. Everybody seems to love Smash, at least for the most part. And, you know, a much higher percentage of people than with some other franchises. And really, Smash has proved again that multiplayer on the Switch is just awesome. It really, really is. I haven't been able to play nearly as much as I've wanted, but every time I do, I have so much fun. And Smash, just again, on top of Mario Kart and all that stuff, has really just solidified the Switch as, like, the best little local multiplayer system that there is. Online multiplayer, obviously not so much, but as far as, like, sitting on a couch, gosh, man, it really, really excels. And Smash, especially with the convenience of being able to play all in one system, you know, System Link and all that is great, but really just sharing around controllers, it's still as good as ever. And I tell you, the Switch has been awesome at Arlopalooza. We had our second Arlopalooza last October, and like, there were a lot of consoles on TVs everywhere, but the Switches were so easy, because they're so small and easy to switch out. We had tournaments. You know, everybody's docks were hooked up to TVs, so just like switching out Switches was just like the easiest thing in the world. It's even for larger scale local multiplayer, like big 8-player games, it's just so much easier, and I really, really appreciate it for that, you know? It's just the ease of play is incredible. Connection issues were still kind of issues, but some of that might have been our network, it might not have been the Switches. I'm not really sure, but whatever. And I tell you, like, everyone is beside themselves, just so excited waiting for Smash at Arlopalooza. We're gonna have a big tournament and it's gonna be awesome. I mean, like, even at the first Arlopalooza, everyone was just like, yeah, but when there's Smash, right? It's gonna be awesome. So everyone is just hyped like crazy. It's gonna be amazing. Gonna be the best Arlopalooza ever, if anything, just because the Smash tournament. So it's still too early to say, but like I've said in the past, depending on how some upcoming games turn out, the Switch is still on track to be my favorite console ever. Like, it is still keeping the pace that it needs to keep to very much potentially be the best one. I've already put so many hours into it. I've already enjoyed so many games on it that if they just keep them coming, if Luigi's Mansion ends up being great, Metroid Prime ends up being great, it's gonna be up there. It is definitely gonna be up there. Still gonna be hard to dethrone the GameCube, but even if it doesn't, it's gonna come awfully close. And you know what? Even if it doesn't dethrone the GameCube in terms of titles and like number of titles or whatever, especially because the GameCube, those were all kind of new, so they were kind of more mind-blowing. These are all sequels, whatever. That's the whole thing. At least as far as the system goes, it's definitely the best. Just like convenience and coolness factor, just the actual hardware itself and what it does and what it is, it's definitely the best. Like, there's no question. It's the best Nintendo system they've ever put out. I gotta tell you, it has really taken over my life, hasn't it? Just like ever since doing this whole YouTube thing, ever since my channel really went full Nintendo and then really went full Switch. It's just been 2 years of eat, sleeping, and breathing Switch. It's really quite all-encompassing, huh? I feel like if someone went back in time and just deleted the Switch, or if Nintendo suddenly just said, we're stopping all production, the Switch is dead, my whole life would just... I would just crumple to the floor like a marionette. But fortunately, that's probably not gonna happen, so I can keep living my life with the Switch propping me up like this. And, I think that's it. If you got a Switch at launch, let me know how your second year was, or if you got it sooner, then tell me how... I don't know. Tell me how anything is. I like comments. I will see you guys later.